We come back and talk more about, Gaza. It is in focus where Netanyahu's final effort is underway. There is now a ground assault which has begun from the Israeli side into the Gaza City. This has been much anticipated. This has been in the works for some time now. But what lies ahead? Now, Israel has to do two things. It has to go deep inside Hamas territory and at the same time ensure that hostages are protected. Let's not forget that as far as the entire deep tunnel network that Hamas has, all of that still remains. None of that has actually been devastated, damaged as far as Israel's pounding of Gaza is concerned. So that deep tunnel network remains, even as Gaza City is now going to be under major ground assault because Israel feels this is the only way it can get those hostages back. Can it? Remains to be seen. But let's first play out this report that tells you how significant this assault is, the scale at which Israel is looking to do this, and how long can it potentially continue this without threatening the lives of hostages, which frankly they are standing by and holding on to a thread as far as life is concerned. Let's play out this report.
It's been called Netanyahu's final push. A sweeping ground assault into the heart of Gaza City is now in full motion. Footage shows Israeli tanks and bulldozers entering Sheikh Radwan. This is Israel's most extensive ground push in Gaza since the war began. The IDF says it's targeting Hamas's last military stronghold and aiming to bring the remaining hostages home. But at what cost? The Gaza Health Ministry reports 65,062 dead. Humanitarian workers speak of a slow-moving famine with over 430 confirmed starvation deaths, nearly a third of them children. Displacement is near total, with 9 in 10 Gazans fleeing south, many on foot. And as tanks push forward, the pressure back home on Netanyahu is erupting. Just outside the Prime Minister's Jerusalem residence, families of the remaining hostages have built an encampment. They say Netanyahu's war gamble is risking their loved ones' lives and Israel's soul.
התחננתי, התחנפתי, הייתי ממלכתית, הייתי תוקפנית, התפללתי, וכך נלחמות כל המשפחות. ואיפה הממשלה הזאת?
Across the Mediterranean, Europe is moving to freeze Israel's trade privileges. The EU accuses Israel of violating core human rights clauses in their trade deal, citing mass civilian deaths and aid blockades. Netanyahu's warning, if isolated by Europe, Israel may have to become what he calls a super Sparta, self-reliant, militarized, and ready to stand alone.
ואנחנו עושים מאמצים כרגע לפתוח צירים נוספים כדי לאפשר פינוי מהיר יותר של האוכלוסייה העזתית, להפריד אותה מהטרוריסטים שאותם אנחנו רוצים לתקוף.
The IDF claims progress, but underground 48 hostages still remain. And for their families, time is running out. Netanyahu says this is the final push to defeat Hamas. But whether it ends the war or drags the region into deeper chaos may depend on what happens in Gaza City in the coming days. Bureau Report, NDTV World.
All right, so now you know, viewers, that there is this final assault, the ground assault that Israel has launched into Gaza City. This is essentially something that's been in the works for some time now. Let's put out some of those numbers for you to understand what's at the scale at which this is happening. This has gone weeks and weeks of preparation has gone into it. Benjamin Netanyahu announced this about almost 2 months back. So there's been a lot of preparation that has gone into it. First and foremost, it has actually stormed deep inside Gaza City. even as the toll is rising and the offensive is intensifying. Now, as far as the toll is concerned, it's very important to tell you, viewers, that these are numbers that are coming in from the Gaza side. These are numbers coming in from the Palestinian authorities. These are not independent figures. That's very important for you to understand that, yes, there is human toll that is taking place, but some of those numbers need to be factored in when you make an objective assessment. Next up, hostage families have accused Netanyahu of betrayal. This is at the heart of the entire issue right now, that when you move deep inside Gaza City, you are actually challenging Hamas in its stronghold, where the deep tunnel network actually exists, and which is where the hostages are also there. So Hamas has actually said that if there is going to be any effort by the IDF to take those hostages by force, they will all be shot dead. They will all be killed, which is why the hostage families are protesting outside Netanyahu's residence, saying that anyway, we have limited options, and even those are going to be ruled out the moment you try and take those hostages by force. Donald Trump has also weighed in on it. I'm going to tell you that in just a bit. But let's tell you what exactly EU has said. EU has moved to sanction Israel over Gaza. This is something that there's been a lot of international condemnation that has grown, because the moment Israel has gone deep inside Gaza City, a lot of Gazans have actually fled. They have limited options. There is only that single corridor, and even aid is now fast disappearing, which is why condemnations are piling up. Let's get ahead in terms of what Netanyahu is saying. Well, super Sparta isolation is what Benjamin Netanyahu is saying. Again, a man who has very limited options. It's going to be 2 years since this conflict, viewers, and some of those hostages haven't seen sunlight for 2 years. They are trapped in those tunnels, and this may be the option that Israeli forces have. But is this the best one as far as hostages are concerned? That's something we're going to put out to our Israeli guest, who's going to join me in just a second. Those are Gaza death toll figures. And as I said, something that needs to be factored in when you take an objective assessment. Lastly, famine in Gaza, 432 is the number that's been put out. Some of these are UN numbers. Some of these are numbers that have come in from the Palestinian authorities. Either way, what we are looking at is a huge human catastrophe that has unfolded in Gaza, even as military options that Israel has on the table are very limited. And let's get that detail from Benny Benjamin, who's joining me for more on this. Mr. Benjamin, thanks so much for speaking to me on Faultlines. Let me start by asking you, sir, as things stand right now, what do you make of the ground assault? It's the final push, so to say, from the Israeli side to get the hostages back. How are you expecting this to play out?
The public opinion is divided into two. Today, some people, they say, okay, we must go in Gaza and take out our hostages back. There are some people who are thinking about that if the army will go in, the hostages will be killed. I'm with the opinion that they were supposed to negotiate and bring the hostages back. There is a negotiation going on in London, what I know as per the news, that they will sit on the table and discuss about the hostages. And I think to believe them, they will release 1 or 2 hostages to show that there is a way to do it. So I wish that will come in today or tomorrow itself, so that we will know that the negotiation will happen and we will stop the war. My opinion is that we had enough war. We must finish the war as soon as possible, because casualties are in both sides. Our soldiers have been killed. Our people have been worried, and we are getting still. Houthis are giving us a lot of missiles throughout the week. So it's very bad and very uncomfortable situation that we have. As per my opinion, also the European countries are taking part in this. And I believe that if they were not supporting so much the Palestinians, I'm not talking about Palestinians from the West Bank, I'm talking about the Palestinians from Gaza, where they are supporting completely, because these are the terrorists, people who came in Israel. We have not started the war. We were giving them everything, water, electricity, everything. So I don't think that we had made any mistake. But the biggest mistake is today that they are supporting and they are sanctioning
Mr. Benjamin,
Israel.
I understand you're making that political point, but I want to come to the assault per se. this comes at a time when most of the Hamas deep tunnel network is still intact. So the IDF is going deep inside Hamas territory, and many say risking the lives of hostages who are anyway holding on to life with just a thread right now.
I don't like to call them even Hamas today, because they are the guerrillas of this area. To fight guerrillas, any army, if it is a big army like India or a big army like US or big army like Russia, nobody can fight guerrillas. Guerrillas is one of the worst things to fight out, and I think this is the point where Israeli army was supposed to think that, okay, there are guerrillas, we can fight, we can do it in one day. But the problem is there is a lot of population there, Palestinian population, also the Israeli hostages, and we are not free to go in and fight as we want. So I think better to stop the war.
Okay, that's one note to end this on. Penny, we're going to keep speaking, and I'm going to come back to you because this is a ground assault that the world is watching, and we in India are also keeping a very close watch on. Thanks much for joining me on Faultlines this week.